Can you tell me about the moment when you decided to go full time with your pottery?
Well, it was 5 years ago. My story's really different because I had patron Zach Brown. He's a country singer, a Grammy Award winning country singer. And I was selling my work at the farmer's market. And he would see me all the time. And he said, "Have you ever thought about doing this full time?" And I said, "Yes, but I have a family to think about. And I didn't want to lose insurance. I couldn't just make that jump." So he told me, he just came to me one day and he was like, "I have a big company. Whatever assistance you need, I can help you start your career." And I didn't think, I just thought he was just talking to be talking. But I didn't reach out to him. And he called me. He said, "Well, where's the phone call?" And I went over to his house and he said, "What do you need?" And I had all the equipment that I needed. But he helped me out by providing insurance and providing me with a salary to begin the journey of clay. And then I did that for 2 years. And then I've been independent for the past three.
I absolutely love that. That's a really great story. So, what would you say has been your biggest obstacle since you started going full
The
time?
biggest obstacle is always sales, trying to find a market. And that's why you have to go out and build these relationships. You can get some wholesale things because social media is a weird, Instagram was once where they'd share your work with everybody. Now they don't. The algorithms change. The people who actually follow you to see what you do don't even see your work. I get so many DMs and it was like, "I didn't even know you were still creating pottery. I don't see your work anymore." You have to do the due diligence of collecting the email list and just being persistent, persistent, persistent. So it's always about the sale. So with me and the other full-time potters that I talk to, it's just about how do you always get that market to sell, to sell, to sell, so you can provide for your life. And what people don't realize is they see your work. Social media is just a big scam. Like they see your work, they see that you're selling stuff, but I don't think people put it together that you're selling your stuff to live. It's almost like they think you might be selling your stuff to just hoard money, but the work you make, you're paying rent, you're paying insurance, you're paying when the car breaks, like you're paying for your children in school. So it's always about just being able to get into the market where people can see your stuff, you can sell your stuff. So it's always the obstacle for me is always sales. And I think once you're in any business, that's what your obstacle is going to be, unless you're just a very, very big popular brand. But as a small business owner, more than likely is always how to increase your sales.
Absolutely. You have mentioned building relationships a couple times. How can other potters build relationships with people?
Just talk. And a lot of people are, a lot of introverts, that's really hard to do. But practice. I will, I'm not, it's not going out of my way now, but I just talk. If it's the person at the cash register, I'll say, "How are you doing?" Like, "How is your day?" But I think because I generally care about how somebody's day is going. So that just small conversation can lead into bigger conversations. So how was your day? How was your day? "Oh, thanks for asking." A lot of people get that, like, "Oh, wow, you asked me how I was doing." We live in a world where we don't ask people how they're doing. Just start with that because it just leads on to different things. It just leads on and it will just keep leading. And if you can consistently do it, it'll come back. More of it will come back and build relationships with everyone. Not just
Absolutely
yeah,
love that.
just not just potters, just everyone.
Absolutely love that. Shaping Nation, if you are maybe overthinking about how to build relationship, the first step is just to start talking, just to be interested into them, and it'll start snowballing
Yeah, and
eventually. I
then
love that so
you don't
much.
have to, but if you're in a business, to be good at business, you have to have relationships and you have to have people who want to purchase what you're creating in the business world. As small as potters are in the business world, we have to forge those relationships.
How do you leverage relationships to help you sell your own pottery?
I don't. It's never a leverage, and it's not a game. It's just being authentic. How are you doing today? And it's not like I'm not thinking
Hmm.
about pottery. I'm not thinking about pottery when I'm talking to you. It's just, how are you doing? And the conversation might come like, "What are you doing?" "I do pottery." At that point, I still don't force the issue. I'm not forcing the issue to sell anything. It's just maybe this is what I do. That might come up in the conversation, but it's just being genuine about who you are and who they are. That's it.
Absolutely love that. So what are the steps someone should be taking if they want to start being able to start selling their own pottery?
I would say if you're in a job already, get out to your local. It could be a farmers market, craft fairs, social media. Build a website and start to see if you can create work that people are interested in buying. So see if there's a base first, and see if you're making work in a reasonable amount of time for the price point. Because if you spend much time on one piece, if you're spending 10 hours on a piece and you're going to sell that piece for $120, you have to realize in a 40-hour week, you don't have that much. So you just have to think, is your work and time, is it feasible? Because that's going to be your only revenue if you're going to go in a pottery field. So these are just the things you think about. And when I first started watching like pottery videos on YouTube a long time ago, maybe about 12 years ago, I believe Simon Leach was like, in a production pottery kind of setting, you want to be able to create at least 20 things an hour. And my things are really basic in terms of the adornment of it, the aesthetics of it, except for that, like the slip collection I had. And like this pumpkin stuff took a lot more time. But if I'm doing the basic fundamental stuff that I normally do, I can easily crank 30 mugs out in an hour. I know that I can generate that revenue as well.